I would now like to invite Mr. Rahul Tyagi, co-founder Lucideus, who will conduct a cybersecurity workshop. Lucideus is a Delhi-based enterprise cybersecurity firm that builds and delivers information security platform and services to proactively secure, continuously monitor, and reactively respond to cyber threats. All yours, Mr. Tyagi.
Hi, this is Rahul Tyagi. Thanks for having me here. My topic will be making sense in cybersecurity or security. Now, as you know, from last 10 years, security has become the centerpiece of everything along with the technology which we are using. 5 years back, what was internet for you? We used to use Orkut, maybe Facebook. So usually the entire communication is like getting socialized on internet. This was what internet was for us. But today, if you see after a half decade, that everything from walking from out of our house, whenever we go to for our office, we book Ola, Uber. So money is involved in every action on our daily basis. Now, when this is the case, security becomes the major concern for every individual as well as the organizations also. And that's where we come to the picture where we try to solve this problem with some methods or platforms we have and make sure that life of an individual along with the organization is secure from cyber attacks and cyber criminals. Now, if you see recent hacks which are happened previously, for example, the classic Cambridge Analytica hack, where when that attack was happened, it really affect every individual who are using Facebook from last 6 to 7 years. And when it comes to the Congress, when Mark Zuckerberg, it took almost 2 days for Mark Zuckerberg to understand the Congress that what was the problem and how they are addressing this problem. It took almost a day to Sundar Pichai to convince the Congress to show them that how Google is making sure that how they are going to protect and they are protecting their customers. Now, if you see the entire picture of this entire 2 different hacks, that it becomes a pain for the board members and it becomes a pain for the government to project and to analyze that how these companies are making sure that they are very proactive in terms of making every user's data secure. Now, that's when the quantification of the data is very much required. Now, every organization works on basically 3 pillars, stands on 3 pillars, which is your process, people and technology. Now, in terms of our investments into the infrastructure and making sure that we'll be investing too much, we will be investing a much budget on technology part. The only missing part here we see is the people part. As per Kaspersky, like 92% of hacking starts from a mistake of your employee when they click on a phishing campaign or phishing email sent by the cyber criminal. Now, you can fix any technology, but you cannot fix people awareness level. It is always be a challenge for every organization, depends on the scale of your organization. That's why organizations have to now understand that the level of investment they are doing at the technology level or maybe the compliance level, they have to invest in terms of the people level. Now, why I want to focus more on people part, because we have enormous products in terms of who is going to take care of the technology, but when it comes to the people part, we always rely on the traditional trainings. We rely on the LMS system, learning management systems, where you can see the videos, there is some MCQ and you can answer that and you're good to go. But still that cannot it cannot solve the traditional problem. For example, we have seen like after doing the courses also, the person who is the topper of that course, still he falls in the phishing mail. So, real quantification of the learning is what is missing in the market, which I feel that I think we're going to fulfill that soon with something which we have in our bucket. So, from last 7 years of our learning, what we realized that again technology again we can fix. It's a matter of time, how much time it will take. Compliances also we can make an automation of the compliances, for example ISO, PCI DSS, HIPAA and so on. But the people part is something is the biggest concern every organization has to spend money on. Second thing which I think we should understand that because of the fastness in the economy and every product which we are launching, it's a competition in the market, and sometimes we compromise with the security of the products because we have to launch the product, we want to get the customer on board and get the money out. But the challenge in that is that we have to understand today trust is something which is the main USP you have on your customer. If your customer really trusts you when it comes to security, it can become your USP. So I just want to mention a classic example that how companies can make security as their USP. For example, your DBS Bank. Now, DBS Bank's tagline is Asia's safest bank. Now, as a customer, if I see around me, there are a lot of banks being hacked, there are a lot of news, and one bank is looking for and saying that Asia's safest bank. Now, that's something which I am going to bet on. Even they have a little bit of less or more premium in their account if I am having a saving account there, but still it gives a kind of a shelter of security to the customer when they are using that tagline. So, we have to understand that security is not an investment, it is basically it's your asset, and it will not help you to get more customer, but also builds a confidence in the ecosystem that your products are safe and your customers' data is safe. And last which I want to talk is how the ecosystem of cybercrime is changing, and that's why we have to be proactive and you have to quantify the cybersecurity. Again, I am repeating about quantifying cybersecurity. Even the Gartner has recognized in their quadrant report that in next 10 years, the security companies or individual companies will survive who are able to quantify cybersecurity risk posture on their organization, because if you can't quantify something, you cannot protect it. So, you have to know where you are lacking, and because of your scalability of the product and scalability of the geographical areas of your product, it becomes very important to know where you are lacking and where to protect it before a hackers comes to that. So, we have to understand also that as compared to last 5 years, criminals has been changed, right? Their way working model has been changed. They are also working on now SaaS models where if you want to infect someone with a ransomware, you don't have to make your own ransomware, or you don't have to even pay them advance. You can go to their website in dark web and purchase a ransomware, and the number of machines you are going to infect with that ransomware, the cut of that, it will be taken by the company. So, it's kind of a R&R model which these criminals are also using when they are selling their product to the criminals. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to really figure it out how these application works, and which is a concern, because now cyber criminals have bosses and budgets which we didn't see from last many years, but nowadays they are very organized. They really invest money into their research, they really invest money before launching the attack to see the success ratio of that attack. Now, when this is the scenario, we have to be one step ahead than them to make sure that we are protected from them. Now, to reach to that scale, definitely it needs budget for sure, it needs manpower, it needs security from the build, I call it, because whenever you are making a product, make sure that you don't only check the verification part of the product, but you also check the validation part, which is very important in your small products and all. And this applies not only the external facing products of yours or the customer facing products, this also applies with the products which are within your organization at a network level, because we have seen that the applications and the softwares which are deployed at a customer facing websites are pretty much secure as compared to the softwares which they are using in-house in their organizations, because there is a perception that everyone in my company is a super secure guy and he is not going to hack me. But insider job is something we have to also cater and make sure that they will not be someone who is taking benefit out of any vulnerability within my organization. So I think that the crux of the story is that to protect something, you have to see something first and see where we are lacking. And risk quantification becomes a very important concept, and to make sense with your boardroom, I'll give you a classic example like that why it is a matter of is a concern for today. Recently, I listened to a talk of Tim Cook, and it was I think it was an MIT talk where he addressed the audience where he can choose any topic on the planet to address the youngsters, but he chose a topic on cybersecurity, that how cyber crime or cyber security will affect humanity in future, and where privacy is becoming a big concern, where security is becoming a big concern. So the crux of the story is that security is a global problem, and I think to mitigate that, to solve this problem, we have to be proactive together. And the investments we are doing on a technology level, we have to do the same level of investment into a people part, and make sure our awareness in the company is pretty much high on security. And once we divide this budget in terms of every pillar of the organization, like process, people, technology, and I think we can address this issue in a pretty much in a good way as compared where we are today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Tyagi. That was a very comprehensive presentation.